Well, hello, my lovelies, and the very warmest of welcomes to Thursday Night Live with me, Boaty, who will, for the next 58 minutes, be coming non-stop in your eyes and your ears, direct from Windy Bottom, here in the glorious Peak District National Park. Oh, and what a joy it is to be in your company again. I'm so excited I could scratch my bottom with a clean finger. Honestly, I am semi-orgasmic with joy to be here sharing this moment with you, because you are so very special to me. You are the most wonderful people that I could ever have imagined. You are like the ultimate bowl of comfort food allied to an amuse-bouche cooked by, what's his name, Marco Pierre White, sprinkled with gold dust, cocaine and heroin. You really are such a top-of-the-range community, and I'm jolly humbled and grateful and thankful to be part of you. Now, talking about community, and before I forget, it is Thursday night. It's Mad Thursday. That means that anything goes. We can chat about anything that your little hearts desire. You name it, we can run it up the flagpole and see if our pants fall down or something of that nature. And cheers, your very good health, darlings. Oh, I need this. Oh, now that's a joy. Now, I think that my incredible fame has gone to my head, and obviously the huge additional income that now comes my way every month from YouTube. And I've done something a bit crazy, darlings. I have upgraded my everyday wine. Right now, please don't think I'm showing off. I'm not. I'm just sharing this with you because you're my friends. But I've upgraded it. Now then, as you may or may not know, my normal everyday wine was, not anymore, but it was Sainsbury's House Pinot Grigio, which came in at £4.85 per bottle. Not anymore, darlings. No. Not now that fame and fortune have come my way. Now my daily drink is Sainsbury's House Soirée. Look, with a little label, a little DOC label on it to say that it's the really good stuff. And again, I'm not showing off. I'm just telling you how it is. This splendid vintage comes in at a mighty £5 per bottle. So I have upgraded my wine to the tune of 3 shillings per bottle. Oh yes, because I'm worth it. But none of this would be possible. Drinking this amazing wine at this significantly increased level of expenditure would not be possible were it not for you. So let me tell you, it's not just me that's upgraded my wine. It's you guys as well, because this bottle is for you. Yes, 5,000 odd, I can't remember the exact number, but there are 5,000 lovely subscribers, and this bottle is for you. And just to be absolutely clear, that is a bottle between you, not a bottle each. And it is served on a first come, first served basis. And once the bottle is empty, then I'm afraid that's your lot, basically. So if the first person who rocks up nets their whole bottle, then the other 4,999 of you are quite frankly out of luck. But, you know, it's not my fault you couldn't be bothered to get here sooner, is it? So don't start trying to blame me, and don't start coming up with stupid bloody excuses like, well, I live in America or I live in Australia, right? Just, it's out there, and that is my gift to you. Along with cake and Momo, if you're a channel member on a tier. I can't remember what the bloody hell the tiers are. But if you're a channel member on a tier which entitles you to cake and Momo, then you can have a little nibble with your thimble full of wine. Oh God, who have I got? Steve Colg is here, fantastic. And Steve is already drunk. Excellent, good man. Barry is here, and we're going to be talking about Barry, that guy from SETI Alpha 5, who says, hello, you lovely people. How are you all? Arrived today, mate. Thank you so much. It's all in the daily diary. It's going to get mentioned here as well. Barry just came back from a book sale and picked up a bunch of Alistair MacLean, Jack Higgins, and James Mitchell books. Lovely. And James Mitchell is, of course, the author of the Callan series. And I'm sure the other two are jolly good authors too. Alistair MacLean rings a bell. Jack Higgins doesn't. Sophie is here, the fantastic Sophie, whose dulcet tones and splendid looks you will have noticed on my video, Mustard's video, and indeed Joe's video. She's all over the internet these days like a pair of mad woman's drawers. And quite frankly, the internet is a better place for it. And Sophie says, hi everyone, how are you all? And how has your lovely day been? And I echo that sentiment. I hope you've all had a lovely day. And if you haven't, well, don't worry. You're here now in a friendly, relaxed hour amongst friends, and you will be getting your share of that bottle of wine. If you rock up here before I've already locked the door, but if you give a special knock so that I know it's you, I'll unlock it and let you in. Also, says Sophie, how's Boaty tonight and how's your day been? Well, it's jolly kind of you to ask. I am feeling particularly splendid today. Well, I'm not able to get my words out, but, you know, that happens, doesn't it? I mean, they are tricky chaps' words. I'll tell you what else are tricky chaps. Live streams. Now, if you've never done a live stream, then believe me, it's perfectly possible to fail to start a live stream properly 4 or 5 times in succession and then spend 2 hours reading all of the comments out entirely wrongly. So the best of luck to you if you ever tried to do one. My day has been good. My day has been good. Not remarkable, but good. I mean, every day is good. Every day is a blessing, isn't it? And we should all jolly well make the most of it. And Barry's doing okay here, and he's letting Sophie know that. And Sophie's okay as well, so that's good. John Stoodley is here right in our midst. Hey, Boaty, and hey, chat, he says. And he also hopes everyone had a great day today. Isn't there all of these wonderful good wishes going around? It's awfully nice. Oh, hello, that's going to change it. Cheeseburger's here and says, good evening. Well, he didn't even say. Cheeseburger just says, evening all. And this is Cheeseburger, who was, of course, hobnobbing last night with the great and the good in the shape of Angela Rayner. Although I suspect, unless Cheeseburger would like to tell me otherwise, it was more of the hobbing than the nobbing. But, he'll let us know. And perhaps he'll answer Skick's question of who is better in bed, Angela Rayner or Diane Abbott? Because Skick did ask that last night, but Cheeseburger had already sodded off to the free bar. And who can blame him? Project Nigel, Captain Mustard, the lovely captain. That's our splendid Harry Paddington, our friend, our confidant, our entertainer, and our secret lover. He is here, and How could that be anything less than a joy? And he says, hello, cats, because he's still in his Cliff Richard mode and that is Cliff Richard, the coiffured UK Elvis equivalent from the late 1960s. Not the later version of Cliff Richard, the alleged pervert who looks like a really old version of Victoria Beckham. It's cool for Cat, says Cheeseburger. And Cheeseburger also says, nice review of the Jag, Mustard. Nice review of the Jag. I haven't seen that yet. My day, says Mustard, has been all about cats. And I guess we're left to guess whether that's the feline variety or the catalytic converter variety. We'll probably find out. Cheeseburger says, my two are asleep. And I presume he's talking about his testicles. Joe is here and says, good evening, Jason and all. That's nice. Pingu is here right in our midst. Good evening, Reverend Boaty. How's life in Vinoland? I'm only just stepping into Vinoland, but so far so good. £5 a bottle. £5 a bottle. Look at me living the high life. Oh my God! It's like sipping nectar or Alanis Morissette's. No, I can't say that. I can't say that. Use your imaginations. Thanks for sharing my video, both Jason and Paul. Really, really appreciate it, says Joe. And for those who don't know, Joe has put out a rather splendid video on his channel, Cars with JC. And it's doing rather well, isn't it, Joe? It's picking up views very nicely, knocking on the door of 300. So if you haven't watched it, let's get it over that 300 figure, shall we? If we can do that by morning, that would be great. And just search for, oh Christ, I've forgotten what it's called. Search for MGTF Snake Pass, or go to the Cars with JC channel and hit subscribe while you're there. That Jag suits you, Captain Mustardo, says Pingu. I haven't seen it. Cut the waffle, Boaty, says Cheeseburger. Thank you, says Mustard. Skick says, has Bernard decided if she's going to Rill? It doesn't work like that, Skick. Bernard doesn't make decisions and she doesn't tell you what's going on. Bernard makes very pleasant but non-committal noises. So I've sort of said, right, this is what I suggest for Monday. This is the hotel I've booked, and we could do this, 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 and this. And she said, oh, that sounds lovely. Now, that doesn't mean that she'll turn up. It just means that it sounds lovely. So, you know, we shall see. Oh, new wine, says Joe, and Cheeseburger says Skick. The upgraded wine might swing it. Bernard wouldn't drink this. I would. Bernard is a red wine man. Yeah, she's all about the red. So I will. I was going to say I'll grab some red, but I won't. But on the day, if it looks as if she's got a Hove interview, then I will grab some red. I'm going to put together a little emergency. Oh, I found a restaurant to eat at. Well, it's a restaurant stroke takeaway. So if it's just me on my own, it'll be a takeaway. If I've got company, it'll be a full-on sit-down posh job. God, posh in real. That's a joke, isn't it? But it is the #1 restaurant on TripAdvisor, which, considering it's in Rill, probably means that it's a disused bus shelter, and you sit on the floor inside it, and some local youths just throw microwave meals at you. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Pingu says, Boaty, maybe you should try the manager position for a month over winter to see if it suits you and have more squids to pay for heating. Right, yeah, Pingu is talking. Well, Pingu has obviously been assiduous. assiduous in watching the daily diaries, because this is something that I spoke about on yesterday's daily diary, which was uploaded lunchtime today, of course, where basically, for those who haven't watched it, Vishnu wants me to take over fully running the restaurant, i.e. working in-house, working pretty much exclusively front of house, and I'm not sure if I fancy it. People ask me what I do at work or what my position is, and it's very difficult to explain. I manage some things, although I'm not technically a manager. Sometimes they call me a manager, sometimes they don't. We don't really have positions, we're just family. So there are certain things that I take responsibility for. In terms of actual work, I can do anything. I can work front of house, I can wait tables, I can run the bar, I can take orders, I can work in the kitchen, I can run the pass, I can do starters, desserts. I can work the stove as well, although that's that would be a very, very infrequent thing. But if push came to shove, I'm capable of doing it ish. And I'll do deliveries, and of course I look after the PR. I look after marketing. I look after customer liaison. Some of the legal stuff, anything of that nature. But that's all on a very unofficial basis. And they want me to officially just take over as whatever term you want to put on it, general manager, whatever. And I'm just not sure if I want to do it. But Pingu, that is a good point. And I suppose if you're going to do it, it would make sense to do it in winter when you need the money for the heating and when you haven't got the daylight. So the extra hours that you're spending in the restaurant aren't really going to matter. Do you know, I was thinking about this today, and ultimately, I think what it will come down to, if Vishnu were to say, he hasn't really put the pressure on. He's just said that, why don't I think about it? It would make sense, blah, 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 blah. If he and Ram, if they turned to me and said, for the sake of the restaurant and for us, we're asking you, please do this, then I would probably have to, because if they wanted it particularly for whatever reasons, then they're my family. I love them. They're amazing to me. They cared about me, and I cared about the business. So if they told me that it's the best thing for the business, then I would probably do it. And to be honest, I haven't talked about this much, but we've had since since Ish left, who was amazing. Ish has got his own restaurant now. He's doing very well. Since Ish went, we've had a succession of managers or front of house managers or whatever you want to call them, who were quite frankly suboptimal. And indeed, the most recent one, I actually put my foot down for once in my life and said, this guy has got to go. He's losing his business. I think probably that if I went front of house, I think I'd probably increase business. I'm pretty sure of that. I've got a lot of history in customer service. I tend to get on with people. People tend to not immediately dislike me on sight. I know what I'm talking about with the food, so it probably would make sense for the restaurant, but would it make sense for me? I think that we should, in an ideal world, we're very male centric at the restaurant. We're exclusively male at the restaurant, apart from Dee Dee, who is kitchen porter at the weekends. And what I would like to see front of house I don't mind doing things behind the scenes, but in terms of actual front of house, I'd like to see one or two, and I'm not being sexist, forgive me, but one or two pretty ladies, because they are always good for business, always. But we'll see what happens. And Pingu, you've got a point. Nice to see you treating yourself, Jason, says Joe. Well deserved. And he is, of course, talking about my 15 pence per bottle wine upgrade. And it genuinely is appreciably nicer. I mean, all of those 15p's are gonna mount up. I mean, if I drank one bottle a week, so it was 15p extra per week, I wouldn't notice that really. But as I drink 17 bottles per night, that's, oh, who's just done a nice thing? Who's done that? Oh, Neil. Bloody hell, Neil, again? Oh, you wonderful man, you. Right, channel memberships have been gifted, darlings. Hit that button at the top that says allow yourself to receive gifts, and do it quickly, although you're probably too late. Oh, well, this is interesting. Neil, thank you so much. That's incredibly generous. I'm really, really grateful. Thank you. And we have got 5 brand new. I've just read Cheeseburger's comment. Cheeseburger, I'll get to that. You're an arsehole. You make me laugh. We've got 5 new channel members, and they are wonderfully Dick Dastardly. I'm absolutely delighted about that. Dick Dastardly. You may not see him much on the lives or at all, but you'll see him in comments. Dick Dastardly, who is a lovely chap. Dick is a stalwart supporter of Mustards and Channel Nigel. And in the very, very early days of my channel, when I first appeared on Mustards, Dick Dastardly came over to my channel, and he's been an incredible supporter of me. So I'm absolutely delighted that he's been gifted a channel membership. So again, thank you, Neil, for making that happen. Our other new channel members are Teddy Jordan, Bernie Dewhurst, Matt Parker, and Jester 5512. And they're names that I'm not immediately familiar with, so that's lovely. Hopefully, the fact that they're now channel members, maybe we'll become a bit more familiar with those names. It'd be lovely to find out who they are, the people that those names are attached to. My head looks very bare, doesn't it? Yeah, it's always a bit of I mean, I'm kind of used to it because I've been doing this once a year for however long it is, 35 years or something. Well, possibly even more than that. But sometimes you catch a glimpse of yourself and you think, oh, wow, you look a bit sparse. Mind you, should be grateful. I mean, I've got many things that are falling out and dropping off and not working properly, but my hair isn't one of them. I'm lucky enough to still have a full head of hair. I know there's a widow's peak there, but I've had that all of my life since I was a child. The full Ray Reardon, thank you very much. So yeah, we should be grateful for that. I mean, admittedly, I've got the winter plumage on now. There's quite a lot of grey in there, but you know, I am very old and nearly dead, so that's to be expected. So, you know, I can look at it. It looks a bit sparse, but at least it's going to grow back. At least, and you know, I always assumed that I'd go bald because male pattern baldness, it's a genetic thing, isn't it? And my father was bald, and he was bald very early. Not completely, but you know, he had the pate, and you know, he had that by the age of about late 20s, early 30s. My grandfather also went bald, and as yet I haven't. And you'd have to say that having reached the grand old age of, what am I now, 68, there's a good chance that I'll manage to hang on to this until the day that I fall off the twig. I mean, there'll be nothing else of me left. Everything else will have just been cut off or dropped off or just ceased working and withered away. But there might still be a good old wig on top of me barnet. So we should be grateful for these things. Now, let me get back to the messages. I got to Pingu, didn't I? And then Joe. Skik says, Boaty, you do a good service for us people on here. Thank you. Oh, bless you, Skik. That's really kind of you. Thank you very much. Jimmy Quinn is with us and says, good evening, Boaty and all. Good evening to you, Jimmy. Thank you for joining. Barry says, McLean wrote Where Eagles Dare and the Guns of Navarone. See, I knew I recognised the name. Rover Joe is here. Rover Joe. You know what happens when Rover Joe turns up? We'll give him a great big hug of the virtual variety. And Rover Joe says, Boaty! Joe, your name is black. You are not a channel member. Joe, have you clicked the little button that says allow channel memberships to be gifted? Because you're the live stream regular. I'm surprised you haven't copped for one of the channel memberships that have been so kindly gifted by some wonderful people. So, Joe, do make sure you've got that, whatever it is, that little toggle switch in the right position so that if somebody gifts one, you're in with a chance of getting it. Because you are a splendid chap. And you're a splendid chap on two bases. You're a splendid chap virtually, but you're also a splendid chap in real life. And I know that because I've met you and you made me laugh a lot. And that was really nice. So, yeah. And that goes for any of the rest of you who aren't channel members. Do make sure that you've got the little thing flicked that allows you to be gifted a membership. Unless, of course, you particularly don't want to be a channel member, in which case leave it where it is. Cheeseburger says, most of my day was spent on the M6 and I managed 44.5 mpg. Sorry, I've just seen another comment. Well done, Cheeseburger. I did my first economy calculation on Minge Bag, and that came out at 28. And today I have filled up Dick-a-Dum-Dum, so I'll be able to do an economy thing on him. Dick-a-Dum-Dum, I took him to work tonight because if he's going to be used on Monday, and he is the strong favourite at the moment, then I wanted to fill him up where the fuel is a little bit cheaper, and the cheapest fuel around me is near work. And I wanted to just run him over the evening, make sure that the battery had a full charge in him, check out for any issues, and there were none. He drove just so beautifully tonight, an absolute pleasure. I've stocked up his CD case. I've got no radio in there at the moment because the aerial needs fixing. And that's not something I've broken. That was an existing problem when I bought the car, which Joseph ignored because he had a posh stereo in there with hands-free and streaming his phone and everything. So he didn't need an aerial. He could listen to the radio through his phone. But obviously I changed the head unit, put the original in. Apologies for that. The one that came out, the posh one, is in there at the moment. It's a really nice Sony unit. And the reason for those who don't know, the reason I couldn't leave it in Dick-a-Dum-Dum were twofold. One, the original is a Becker. It's the best unit that you could get at that time. It was fitted to Lamborghini, Ferrari, Porsche, Rolls-Royce, Bentley. So obviously I wanted that in there. But also the Sony one is the wrong color. It clashed. It's got a blue display, and that's never going to look right in an orange ambience car. So the original has gone back in, which means I do need to get the aerial fixed, partly so that I can just get the radio anyway, but also so that I can use my FM transmitter, my sun visor, my Jabra Cruiser transmitter, so that I can stream my phone in Dick-a-Dum-Dum as well. I don't think it's going to be a massive job. It needs a new aerial roof mount, but from the look of it, that's going to be accessible. Not going to have to take the roof lining off. You can just drop the interior light and the aerial mount is right above it. So that might be quite easy. And I don't mean quite easy for me to do. Obviously, it would be impossible for me to do, but it might be quite easy for the wonderful Neil to do. And he has very kindly offered to do it. And I have very gratefully offered to bribe him by going down to his place and taking a shed load of Momo and chutney down with me by way of very, very grateful thanks. Oh, and it also needs I told you about that last night. The other bit in there that needs going on there, but I'm sure that will be doable for a man of Neil's immense capabilities. And while I'm down there, God almighty, talk about the gift that keeps on giving. I will be adding an original Land Rover Freelander roof box. Again, thanks to Neil, to the roof bars that he already very kindly sourced for Boo. So Boo's going to have the full setup. Land Rover roof bars, Land Rover roof box. And that is going to be, the camping thing that didn't happen this year. I swore that I'd do an overnight camp. Well, it's definitely going to happen next year, probably more than once, but I'm not going to be doing it alone. I'm going to be doing it with company, and it's going to be hilarious and probably highly alcoholic. Anyway, where did I get to? A hidden comment from Skick. Right. Enjoy this question, everybody. Skick asks, Mustard, serious question. Do you think you get interest from the dick watcher community? Oh, dear. Well, I think we all look forward to the good captain's reply to that excellent, well-couched question. It is a good question. Of course, it's also a question that's going to make anybody who's actually subscribed to the Project Nigel channel possibly feel somewhat uncomfortable. And I imagine that there will be a slew of people saying, well, yeah, I watch the channel, but not for that. I try not to watch that. I try and avert my eyes. Cheeseburger says, Raina or Abbott? Well, Raina can add up, but she is a fearsome woman. I'm not very submissive. New topic, POWAP. Politicians worth a pottering. My vote is Margaret Thatcher, or is that corpse swap? Well, it would be corpse swap now, wouldn't it? But, Mrs. Thatcher back in the day? God, POWAP. Gosh, now then, I'm an Angela Rayner. Yeah, might take a bottle of wine, but why not? God, I'm trying to think of any others. What about that Condoleezza Rice? Is that her name? The American lady? God, struggling to think of any others. Who's going to be brave and say Edwina Curry? Mustard, it was the Catalyst variety. I will post my video straight after your lovely live stream. Oh, that's something to look forward to. So if you've been asking about with Catalyst, then presumably that's going to be Auntie Sophie. I know you're determined to get... God, look at me calling her Auntie Sophie. Her name is Lady Charlotte of Southport. Oh, dear. I know that you're determined to get Lady Charlotte of Southport back on the road next month. You're aiming for, isn't it? No, sorry, November. You said November. So working on it over next month and getting it back on the road for November. A laudable aim, and we indeed we spoke about it in person on Monday, did we not? When I somewhat teasingly, looking the car over in the lockup of terminal disappointment, said, scrap it, mate. This is never coming back. Yes, it is, you said. Yes, it will. And then we made that sort of noise that we all made when we all joined up and pretended to be potential Conservative Party members on an evening do at Oxford. That's what it was like. It was like one of those do's where David Cameron ended up sticking his willy into a dead pig's head. Oh, man, these things can happen. My little tinkle fell into Robin's secretary when she was away in Las Vegas. You know, just life. These things can occur. And it shouldn't stop you becoming Prime Minister. I'm still waiting for that call. I think I'd be a good Prime Minister, actually. I've got some splendid ideas. Another... cheeseburger. So is Pottering Monday on? Group song, let's talk about sex. Oh, yeah. We need a Boggs theme tune. We were talking about this last night, weren't we? Now, the Togs theme tune was the Bluebells, Young at Heart. So we need our own theme tune, a Boggs theme tune. And Cheeseburger's suggestion is, let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things that are in life and Barry shits peas. Let's talk about, they call him Barry shit peas because he shits peas. I hope he's all right. I wonder what happened to him. Cheeseburger says, restaurant stroke takeaway in Rill. McDonald's? No, Cheeseburger. It is a restaurant and takeaway called, rather wonderfully, the Laughing Buddha, and it's genuinely in Rill. Now, there are some nice restaurants not a million miles from Rill, and there are some Nepali restaurants in Liverpool, which are owned by family members. So I could go there and be treated like royalty. But for the purposes of Monday's video, which is to go to the cheapest hotel available on the seafront of what is probably the cheapest seaside resort, then for the purposes of that, I decided that I would have to eat within the environ of Rill. I can't cheat and go outside. So I went onto TripAdvisor and had a look, and I found this restaurant called the Laughing Buddha. And I'm going to take my punishment and go there. So not McDonald's. I don't know if there is a McDonald's in Rill, actually. If there is, I might go there for lunch. Skick says, would you be pleased to see Honest Deck in Rill? Well, I don't know who Honest Deck is, so I don't know if I'd be pleased or not. Pingu says, Boaty, please can you refresh my memory banks? Is Gopi, Chef Gopi, running your sister branch or started his own venture? Neither, Pingu. Gopi was part of the three-way partnership that owned my restaurant, Ripley. So Gopi, Ram, and Bishnu were equal partners, although when it comes to partners, some are more equal than others, and Bishnu was definitely the one that was more equal. Gopi and Ram ran it and worked it. Bish was effectively a sleeping partner in terms of day-to-day, but he did all of the paperwork and legal stuff and whatnot behind the scenes. Now, a while ago, as I told all of you guys, that partnership was dissolved for various reasons. And now the restaurant is under Bish's sole ownership, and Ram is an employee now, head chef, and effectively running all of the kitchen and whatnot, exactly as he did before. That might change. That might change in the not too distant future, but that's a potential story for another day. Gopi, and Gopi was pinging me yesterday. Gopi just decided he was going, and let's be clear, Gopi is a rich man. They're all rich men. Gopi doesn't need to work another day in his life if he chooses not to. But that's not their mindset. That's not really their mindset. And Gopi isn't ready to retire just yet, even though he could. So he decided that he would take a couple of months off, chill out, relax, enjoy himself, spend some time in Nepal, look after his property interests in the UK and in Nepal, and then he may or may not start his own restaurant. Now, my understanding, and he hasn't done so yet, my understanding is that he's planning to or hoping to soon. My personal hope, and I have chatted about this, my personal hope would be that we somehow get things back together and open a third and possibly fourth branch. The ideas for which would be not a full-on restaurant, but a really nice takeaway in a really good area. And my own massive desire is to open a dark kitchen in Sheffield. There's no Nepali cuisine in Sheffield. There's not a single Nepali restaurant or takeaway. And I am massively pushing to open a dark kitchen somewhere in South Sheffield, covering up to the city centre, down to the southern edges of Sheffield and Dronfield, and then in the west, covering the quite wealthy areas around Dore and Totley, the posh bit of Sheffield where Big Tall Steve lives, and even some of the Peak District there, and all of the expensive holiday lets and so on. And with the dark kitchen, we'd have a much greater coverage area. So, sorry. Rather than covering like a 5 to 8 mile radius, I'd be looking at covering a 20-mile radius. And for those who don't know, a dark kitchen is you run an industrial unit, cheap as chips. So you have an industrial kitchen, doesn't matter where it is, wherever is cheap as possible. And you operate a delivery only system. It became very popular during the pandemic, and many restaurants suddenly found that by running a dark kitchen as opposed to an actual restaurant, their costs were cut so drastically that even in the middle of the pandemic, their profit margins went through the roof because their custom increased and their expenses decreased. And to me, it's a screamingly obvious business model, certainly at the moment. It means that you can go in with minimal setup costs. I mean, if you want to set up a restaurant, then unless you're very careful or very lucky, you're looking at minimum £100,000 to set up your restaurant. That's quite a big risk. You could set up a dark kitchen for less than 10,000, probably quite significantly less than 10,000. And you only need skeleton staff. You need 2 chefs, or a chef and a sous chef, or, in our case, a chef and a tandoor chef. And you need somebody on the phones, and you need a fleet of drivers, and that would be it. The expenses are way down. And if you're in our situation where we've already got a premium brand, then you would just carry on using the brand, you'd maintain the same price structure, but your margins would be just through the roof. So I'm really, really pushing to do that. And Bish is very keen on finding a takeaway, not a full restaurant, takeaway with limited seating capacity, but a really, really nice one. Not a takeaway in the normal way of things, like a super duper prestige, somewhere really nice, but where having a smaller premises would make it more financially viable. And I'm still hoping that at some point Gopi will, in some way, shape or form, come back on board. Gopi is a very proud man. He's a very wonderful man. I love him very dearly, but he is very proud. And when the partnership was dissolved, he has taken a stance on principle and said, I will not come back. I will not help. So, you know, Gopi is sitting on his bum, probably bored for all I know. He's a hardworking guy, and his family all work, of course. So, and it's been a while now, so he's probably done all of the gadding about and sleeping in and whatnot, and he's probably bored. So with Ram being in Nepal, it would have made all the sense in the world for Gopi to come back. Gopi is a perfectly good head chef, perfectly good head chef. And he could have earned himself, you know, for those who don't know, a top class, well, a reasonably good Asian chef. They earn good money. You're talking about £1,000 a week. So, but his pride, he won't do it. And that's the same reason I no longer see Deepa or Divas, because they're obviously supporting their father and they're not helping out the restaurant. But I'm hoping that the dust will settle, business will go on, and things will change. And I'm hoping to be involved with it myself as well. But we'll see. We'll see. So I think that answered your Pingu, hopefully. Take the job, Boaty, says Barry. And Cheeseburger agrees. This is the one I was laughing at before. It'll mean less live streams. Take the job, you arsehole, Cheeseburger. Then we've got the lovely gifted memberships, which thank you again, Neil, and welcome again to all of our new channel members. Gosh, it's really exciting, isn't it? I love that. I love the channel membership thing, and I am going to, somewhat unusually, I'm going to copy Captain Mustard. Well, maybe it's not that unusual. I think we don't copy each other. We just take up each other's good ideas. And Mustard put up a short video when he was walking home. And I don't know why he was walking home. I don't know why he wasn't driving. But I'm looking forward to Toby Charles coming back out to play. I need to drive and review Toby Charles. I've not driven him. And I want to do a video. And Mustard needs to do a video on Dick-a-Dum-Dum. So we're going to plan a day where we'll each do a video, and we can help each other out by recording drive-bys and whatnot. I'd like him to review Dick-a-Dum-Dum, and I would love to review Toby Charles, the GSI Tourer. But Mustard put a video up saying it's really exciting having these channel memberships, channel members, and it'd be lovely to keep the ones who have got a month's membership gifted. And he was asking, what would people like to see that would tempt them to stay on as a channel member? Now, I may have said that I would like to see him inserting walking staff into a tall bearded gentleman, but, you know, that was just a bit of fun. No, it wasn't. It was just a little bit of tongue-in-cheek, light-hearted fun that shouldn't be taken seriously. I'm totally serious. But it's a good point, actually. And the only difference that I will make compared to Mustard is that Mustard is talking about channel member only videos. And I won't do that. I won't make videos that stay permanently behind a paywall. I'm just not going to do it. Any video that I do for channel members will at some point be available to everybody. I've said from day one that I will never exclude anybody from anything because they're as poor as I am and they can't afford £1 a month or £5 a month or whatever it is. Not going to happen. But I would love any ideas for channel member stuff that would tempt any of you guys, especially those of you who've been gifted memberships. What would tempt you to part with £1 of your hard-earned money per month to remain a channel member? So please, if you've got any ideas, not you, Cheeseburger, I know what your ideas are. Not that I'll be able to stop you. But yeah, any ideas in that direction, do let me know, because it's amazing having numbers of channel members. I don't know how many Mustard's got now, but I've got over 50. I know Mustard's got more, but I've got over 50, and that's amazing, and it makes me so happy. And I'd love to try and hang on to you lovely guys and girls. So if you've got any ideas of stuff that you would like, please throw them at me and I will try to do them. The only caveat is that there's going to be nothing behind a paywall forever. I don't mind putting, like I do now with the daily diaries, channel members see them daily, non-members get them as a weekly omnibus. That I'm fine with. So, or even if it's stretched to 2 or 3 weeks, I'd be okay. It's just not staying behind a paywall forever. So any ideas, throw them at me, please, and I'd be jolly grateful. Hello all, says Neil. Hope you're well. We're wonderful, Neil, and thank you. Go Neil, says Mustard. Video title from Cheeseburger. Look after the pennies and the wine will taste better. That's not a bad one. We'll screenshot that. Oh, I love this. General Cheeseburger says, hi, Neil. And Neil replies, hey, Cheesy. I love calling him Cheesy. I love that. Skick says, Cheeseburger is a big part of this channel, Boat. Do you agree? 100%. 100%. General Cheeseburger, along with a number of other people, are like the backbone that support me through all of the live streams, which is just amazing. They mean that I'm not sitting here talking to myself. He's a massive part of the channel. There are quite a few people, and I'd love to sit and shout them all out, but I probably wouldn't remember all of them. But there's a core, minus scrotum, or whatever you want to call it. There's a core of amazing people who are not just a big part of the channel, they are the channel, and they have made the channel. And as the channel has gone on and grown and developed, then other people come in and they jump into the existing community and they become a massive part of it too, or they become it. Again, I've said it from day one. I'm not a hub nut. I'm not a Furious Driving. I'm not a JM on cars. I was never going to try and set up a thing where, hi, this is me. You are all my audience, and I will do this for you or to you, and you will enjoy it. Or that's not me. From day one, I've set out to create a thing that is us, not me and you, not content creator or channel owner or whatever and audience. I just set out to create a thing that we are all part of. And that goes for the videos, it goes for the live streams, and it goes for when we rock up to real life stuff. And that's why I've always been open. You all know where I live. You all know my address. And I consider you all to be friends until proven otherwise. And that's just the way that it was always supposed to be. So, yeah, I mean, the channel isn't me, it's us, if that makes any sense at all. and there are many people that are just inherent parts of the channel. The channel is a whole made up of lots of small pieces. I'm one of them. Mustard's another one. Cheeseburger is another one. Joe is another. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. Barry is another one. I mean, wonderful things like this happen. And this meant the world to me, Barry. I'm running short of time, so I'll very quickly show you. It's in the daily diary. It is in the daily diary, so I don't need to go mad. But Barry, bless him, sent me a fantastic letter. You'll see it in the daily diary, and all of these, and he's basically sending me stuff so that I can get a sense of his life, where he is, which is just lovely. I've got a massive interest in the States. Obviously, I've lived there, but not in this particular part. So this is all really interesting to me. And it's going to make me want to visit there. And, you know, one day, hopefully that will happen. You know, in a dream come true scenario, then I would visit all sorts of places where you guys are and meet you all. And he just sent me this lovely, and it just meant the world. And this sort of thing is fantastic. The weekend I've just had with Joe and Sophie and Neil, that was amazing. Monday at the yard it's all just lovely. It's all just coming together, and it makes me feel squidgy and warm and genuinely almost tearful. But I'm not going to admit that because Cheeseburger will rip the piss out of me. Hit that like button, folks, says Pingu, or Boaty might get his feet out again. Yeah, I keep forgetting that I need to threaten you with nudity. Sophie said, oh, God, just spat a bit of something out there. Do apologise. Sophie says, Neil is working really hard, and can we all say well done to him, as his work is hard, and he's not stopped, and he doesn't finish until 2 a.m. For those who don't know, the wonderful Neil is an 8-8 patrolman, and by all accounts, he's a bloody good one. And he grafts hard, and he does put the hours in, and he's an amazing supporter of me and the channel and Mustard, and he's become a really close friend. And I'll tell you this about Neil. He gives a damn good hug. If I could make a Neil hug one of the perks of channel membership, I would, because it's a good hug. I would recommend it. Cheeseburger says, Skick, I only take the pee, and he knows I mean every word of it. Oh, dear. Oh, any news from Bigfoot Joe, says Pingo? Yeah. Sort of news and kind of no news, really. I mean, it looks as if he hasn't said so overtly, but from his tone, it looks as if the original prognosis of months rather than the latter prognosis of weeks, it looks like the months is possibly, hopefully, going to be the more accurate, as he shows no sign of shuffling off at any point soon. I mean, obviously, he's not in a good state. He seems to be in good spirits, in good humor. He's largely bedbound. He's now suffering from pressure sores, which are inevitable. He thinks he's getting all the care that he should. I've spoken to him and told him about proper pressure relieving mattresses that are electric, and they electrically circulate air to reduce pressure, and how his sores need to be dressed, and how he should be regularly, if not turned, then at least propped one way and the other. Today he had a random lump appear on his leg, which isn't causing any pain. but random lumps appearing when you've got terminal cancer are never going to be a particularly good sign, are they? So yeah, I mean, he's clinging on. He's putting the bravest of brave faces on everything, and he's putting some stuff out there that is worth, when a man who is dying, who's got the sword of Damocles over his head, tells you that, look, life is a gift. Every day is a gift. Value it. Take every bit of joy out of it, which is what I've been telling you for ages. But when a guy who's dying tells you that, then it kind of adds an extra little bit to it. So yeah, I will just once again echo that. Life is a gift. With every new day, make it the best day that you can, and take every bit of joy that you can. There are going to be problems, there are going to be issues, there are going to be things that make you feel down. God knows I get my fair share of them. I'm obviously a lot better off than many, but when you live in a microcosm, which we all do, we all live in our own little world, then things become incredibly important to us when they are in our own little world. Worries about paying the heating, personal stuff like teeth falling out, hair going grey, lumps appearing here or there, and they can, in your own little microcosm, and there are millions of examples of this, your car needing work, problems at work, problems with, all sorts of things. And they can ruin your day. They can become so important in your own mind, in your own microcosm, that you allow them to dictate the way that a day or a week or a month or a year or a life will go. And we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't do that. Every day is a blessing because you don't get an infinite amount of them. At some point, we're all going to poof. And, I don't mean that in a Graham Norton way. We all get a limited time on this mad little spinning ball of ours. And every day is a gift. And I urge you with all of the earnestness at my command that no matter what else is going on, be grateful for and take some joy out of every single day. Whether you're in pain, I suffer from chronic pain with all sorts of things. Whatever's going on, I've got something going on with my knee. I've got no idea what it was. I'm walking like Jake the Peg at the moment. I've got no idea why. I'm just of an age where my body is falling apart. But there is very little in life that should stop you taking joy wherever you can. Grab each day by the neck and wring every little bit of joy that you can out of it. And if you're having a shitty day, if there's a load of shit going off in your life, that's not a reason for you to knuckle under and have a sad day or have a bad day. The more shit life throws at you, the more you need to wring out every bit of joy from that day that you can to combat the shit, if nothing else. And no matter what's going on, I guarantee you there will be joy to be had in that day. No matter what's going on, there will be. You just have to make the bloody effort to wring it out, because what's the alternative? Any day that you spend joyless is a day wasted. And, as our friend Joe is proving at the moment, they're not unlimited, darlings. And I know that's a bit morbid, and I don't mean it to be morbid. I'm just saying, every day's a blessing. Enjoy the raving arse out of them, within reason. I mean, don't mainline heroin or anything of that nature, or whatever it is you do with heroin. I've never taken drugs, so I don't actually know what you do with them. Which is going to make me sound very naive, but yeah, I haven't got a clue. I wouldn't know how to. Is it snorting cocaine you do? I wouldn't know how to do that. I wouldn't have a clue what to do with heroin. I don't even know what it looks like. and I couldn't even roll a joint. But let it not be said that I am free of sin. I can open a packet of cigarettes, and I can open a bottle of wine, and sometimes I can open a second one on the same night and have a little bit of that as well, which is probably something that I will do on Monday night at my awful cheap hotel. I'm really looking forward to Monday. It's going to be, it should be a really good laugh. And if I'm on my own, it will still be a really good laugh, because I won't be on my own. I'll have you guys, won't I? I'll be making video content, and you can bet I'm going to be doing probably it'll end up being a 6-hour live, longest live in Christendom. Boaty live from a shithole of a hotel in a shithole of a coastal resort. Oh dear. It won't allow me to accept. Oh, that's right, Joe. I remember now. You're not allowed to accept the gifts if for some reason your channel is a brand channel. When I'm earning some money, I'll have to drop a channel membership, says Joe. And Mustard says, Rover Joe is an excellent chap. He is indeed. And Pingu adds, and an excellent artist. Oh, hello. Sabana's here. Oh, and Sabana says, Jason means business here. And that's in reference to a little conversation we were having at the restaurant tonight. And again, as you know from the Daily Diaries, Sabana is on a mission to learn as much British slang and vernacular as he can. And one of the things that we discussed tonight was meaning business. So not the literal meaning of it, but how we say that if somebody is serious about something in some way, even in a light-hearted way, we say, whoa, he means business, doesn't he? Yes, says Mustard. I think I do. What? You think you do what? You wrote that 20 minutes ago. I've got no idea what that's in relation to. Oh, I see. Oh, right. Now I understand. Ah, yes, that's in reply to Skick as to I think you do too, mate. Mustard will be. I'm not reading that out, Cheeseburger. Oh my God, what a question, Skick, says Joe. Bad Book says, good evening, all. God almighty, it's 9 minutes past time I went. Mustard is the poster boy for the Todger and Tackle channel. How has everybody's day been, asked Joe. Oh, politicians worth a pottering. Esther McVeigh, says Cheeseburger. Liz Truss, says Mustard. That's, oh gosh, brave. Skick says, my ideal women would be Julia Harley Brewer. Is that Mike Brewer's wife? Not got a clue who that is, quite honestly. But good on you, Skick. Cheeseburger would rather have Angela Rayner. I'm looking forward to seeing Boo with a Land Rover roof box, says Joe. She's going to look fab. She really is. Liz Truss, says Cheeseburger. No thanks. She's cheap and has effed up most of the economy. Can't argue with that. You can't argue with that. I mean, how will that go down in history? Have we already forgotten it? Those ridiculous 40 whatever they were days. Oh my God, that budget. Jesus Christ. I mean, it shows how politics has progressed, because you only have to go back 2 or 3 decades and the civil service would never have allowed that to happen. That's the problem with British politics at the moment. Politicians are being allowed to do too much. We need to get back to the day when the Sir Humphreys of this world actually ran things, not the Jim Hackers. Skick says, look, I don't know if anybody's interested, but I watched and studied Simon's live. If you want my opinion, I will tell you. Okay. Cheeseburger says, Skick, I'm not sure of the latest. Does Boaty want us to talk about it or not? I don't mind, Cheeseburger. I'm happy to talk about it. I didn't want to bore you lot with it in case it's a me thing and not a you thing. But if you guys want to talk about it, I'm happy to as well. And I'll tell you what's happened since whatever night it was, Tuesday night or whatever, when I said what I said. Happy to. No secrets here. And Skick, if you want to give your opinion, you are very welcome to. We're all amongst friends. Skick says, Cheeseburger, don't you think intelligence in women is attractive? I do, and maybe Katie Hopkins as well. Well, what's Katie Hopkins got to do with intelligence? Not a fat lot. I would consider Theresa May, says Cheeseburger. She ran through a field naked, apparently. Cheeseburger says, Skick, I would want physical interaction, not a debate on the war in Ukraine. And Pretty Patel, 10 out of 10, says Skick. Gosh, I would love to work at your restaurants, Boaty, says Sophie. That would be fun. That would be fun. Shame we live so far away. Skick, you'd end up in Rwanda, says Cheeseburger. Chips are no longer as cheap as chips. They're not, are they, bad books? They're not. Has anyone heard from Mike, Classic Wheels Wales, says Pingu? And now you come to mention it, I haven't for a while. Hope he's okay. I might ping him after this, just to check. Yeah, hope he's well and just busy, says Pingu. Yeah, I hope so too. Oh, excuse me. You could do a channel members meetup with your Boaty, says John. And Cheeseburger says, John, phone boxes are hard to find these days. We do need to start some meetups. We definitely do need to start some meetups. So if anybody's in Rill next Monday or Tuesday, do hit me up. Oh, hello, Ben's here. Guten Abend, Herr Boaty und Kamerads. Guten Abend, forget us. Reece Stewart is here. Hi, mate. Hello to you. Thank you for joining us. Cheeseburger says, if the channel is us and not you, we want more than a cheap bottle of white. Well, that's all I get. What do you want? Bloody hell. Oh, hello. Oh, okay. Right, jolly good. If Neil is an AO patrolman, says Cheeseburger, he'd better not check Boaty's recycling bin. Yeah, different AA. And can I just point out, for the avoidance of all doubt, that contrary to popular belief, I am not an alcoholic. I don't go to the meetings. I'm just a drunk. Prayers for Joe, God bless him. Agreed. Joe says, sorry I'm quiet tonight, setting up my phone, showing off. He's got a new phone. It's I don't know, it's a Galaxy 23 or something. I think it's one like Mustard's got with an amazing picture. Excellent. A Neil hug can be provided for channel members. There you go. You heard it here first. Channel members. One of the perks that you get is a hug from Big Neil, and I can recommend it. As hugs go, they don't come much better. Big prayers for Joe and family. That's kind, Joe. Excellent words, mate, says Mustard. Every day is better than no day. Yeah, absolutely. Ben says, Boaty, might already have been discussed, but re-enhanced work. Maybe work out an agreement to stay later on the busiest nights. And Cheeseburger can run the lives for us those nights. I did mention about that. I have mentioned that. I think there will probably or possibly be a compromise to be had. I already don't live stream on the busier nights, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it will make no difference if I stayed at the restaurant until 2 o'clock on those nights. And I'm pretty sure that there would be a compromise to be had on like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I could go in a little bit earlier and do the managerial setting up tasks. I can be there throughout service because we close at 10 in theory, unless there are people. So I could go in earlier, do that bit. I can be there for all of service, be there to at all the time that we've got guests, and just bugger off at 10 o'clock. So yeah, it's a good point, Ben, and there will undoubtedly be a compromise to be had. Ultimately, what I've said is absolutely true. I care deeply about the business and about the family, and even more so, if anything, after last night, where Bish really put his heart on the line and told me exactly what he'd been through, and he'd never shared that with anybody before. And it just made me all the more committed. And if everybody thinks that the best thing for the business would be for me to fully take over the running and front of house, then yeah, I will do it. And I'm sure there would be compromises, which means that it wouldn't massively impinge on everything else that I do. They wouldn't do that anyway, because they are as involved with the channel as you guys are. You know, they, like many of you, they've been with me from day one. They were my first subscribers. They know everything that goes on. And they genuinely wish nothing for me but success. And I've always said to them that no matter how big the channel might get one day, and I'm not saying that it will, but I'm saying that even on the off chance that it did, I'd still be at that restaurant every night, or nearly every night. I've told them that as long as they are there, I will be there. And like I said, they are massively invested in the channel as well. And you know, they believe in me. They think that it will go somewhere, and you know, they joke that when I really make it big, they can sell the restaurants and we'll just travel the world together. Where are you staying? Asked Cheeseburger. Guest House Paradiso. And Bad Book says, is the real hotel bed and board, or is the bed a board? Right, well, I'll tell you. There are, you'd see soon enough. Right. The reason this happened is I had this idea where Bernard and I would have a treat, and we would go to a fabulous hotel near where she lives and where we both love on the North Wales coast. And for one reason and another, that didn't happen. So then I thought, well, I'll do the anti-version. I'll go to the worst place and stay in the cheapest hotel. So that's the setup to this. All right. Now, as it turns out, the cheapest hotel that I could find in Rhyl next Monday night, and it had to be on the seafront, or, you know, near the seafront. The cheapest hotel that I could find was a Travelodge. And I've never stayed in a Travelodge. I've got no idea well, I've got no idea what they're like, basically. But given what I paid, I'm guessing they're not. I'm guessing they're not great. But also, given that they're a national chain, and I'm guessing that they can't be that bad. Or can they? I don't know. We'll find out. Skick says, I don't let anyone change my mood. It was hard at first, but I've mastered it. A sad day is a long day. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. They rent rooms by the hour. In other words, carries on Skick, F them. A lot to be said for that. They rent rooms by the hour. They need to rent. Do they rent rooms by 5 minutes? Ben says, our American Bigfoot correspondent, Joe. Yeah, bless him. And Boaty thinks it's 34 quid a night. That's what I paid, £33.99, not including Wi-Fi, not including breakfast, but allegedly with free car parking, though God knows where. Oh, I've just got a wine turd falling down the bottle. There we are. Nobody told me not to freeze my wine, so my wine is frozen, and it's your fault. Oh dear. Barry says, it's up to you, Boaty, but certain people were bang out of order and need to get punched. Well, don't mince your words there, Barry. It was a bit out of order, wasn't it? If I was permitted to run live, says Cheeseburger, Boats would lose his channel. Yeah, well, no argument there. And Ben says, well, it's been a hell of a ride. Go for it. I'm off, say Sophie. Good night, everyone, and God bless. Good night to you, Sophie. Sleep tight. Good night, Boaty. God bless. Good night. Hope you have a great night. Skick says, not Simon. I don't think Simon never really said anything bad. Simon, in my view, is being overwhelmed by Matt the Snake, a very vindictive, jealous man who was the one that carried on fueling the fire. I agree. I agree, Skick. I absolutely agree. Joe says travel lights are okay, to be honest, Jason. Cheap and cheerful, and have always been comfortable and clean. Cheeseburger says, Skick, I know no more than you. I think Simon needs to screen what he reads out. Boaty doesn't read all of mine and is firm with boundaries. Barry says, to be honest, I never cared for Skick, man. Made a lot of snide comments on a lot of videos and is not someone I'd want to associate with. There we go. Joe says, I stayed at one in Cheshire last year for 38 quid and was really good value for the money. Joe agrees with the comments above, and Jimmy also says, you're right, Skick. To be honest, I'm going to finish now, darlings, because we're coming up to past. We're right at the end of the live, so not everybody will make it here, but I will just bring you up to date on what happened since I think it was Tuesday night live where things were said. Immediately afterwards, I was contacted by two people who were kind of horrified that what they thought was, that what is as far as they were concerned, were a bit of fun, were taken in such a way. And I completely accept that. And I've not fallen out with them in any way, shape, or form. And Simon said that, now I've still not watched that live. And I'm not going to watch it. And as far as I know, the live commenting has been removed. I don't know. Simon said that he did distance himself from the comments and mitigated them or whatever, and I didn't see that. But as I said to Simon, the bottom line is there are screenshots doing the rounds of you either reading out or displaying comments that are legally defamatory. And I said, that's not great for your channel, and it's certainly not great for me and my partners. The one person who certainly didn't get in touch was, as you would expect, Matt. Heard absolutely nothing from him whatsoever. But everybody else, so I've not fallen out. I mean, I hadn't fallen out with Matt, and I hadn't cancelled him as he claimed or anything of that nature. You know that. You've seen everything. And I didn't have a problem. Now I've fallen out with him. Not in a massive, I don't wish him any harm or anything like that. No nonsense. And I'm not going to dwell on it. And if he spoke to me, I'd speak to him perfectly pleasantly. But yeah, I'm very disappointed in the way that he's behaved and the things that he's chosen to say. And I agree with, was it Skick? Yeah, I agree with Skick when he says that I think that what's happened is that Matt has clearly got an agenda against me, and then by extension against Mustard and the Unknown Banker. And I think that his friends are, I don't know if they're being overwhelmed, but they're, they're inclined to let him have his say. And I think the things that they are saying, which are just fun or jest or whatever, and are things that would be said here on my live streams, where I'm the first to poke fun at myself, and I don't mind anybody else doing so. I think it's healthy. I think it's hilarious. Long may it continue. I love the fact that you guys share this time with me and really rip it out of me, and never stop doing that. I adore it. And so I accept that there was no malice meant by the others, but Matt is clearly being malicious. So the way I've left it, having spoken to everybody involved apart from Matt, and obviously I spoke with Mustard and whatnot. So the way I've left it is that I've said, look, it would be sensible if you had a quiet word with the gentleman in question and suggested, possibly quite strongly, that these sentiments are only expressed within a private environment. I don't give a shit what people say about me or Mustard and Boaty. You want to have a dig at us personally, that's fine. We're big boys. We can take it. Don't do legally dodgy stuff, all right? If you're going to do that, do it behind closed doors. Do it in a private forum. Don't do it on a public forum where people can screenshot it, word can get about. That's going to do nobody any favours. And I would suggest it's probably going to do them fewer favours than it would do me. If a couple of people want to chat absolute rubbish about what Mustard and I do with cars, then it's probably not going to affect us as badly as it would affect them, because people know me, they know Mustard, and it's probably just going to come across as people being arseholes, to be honest. And if you've got a channel that you're trying to build, it's not going to do you any favors if you become seen as a place that just says really incorrect, bad, borderline or definitely illegal stuff about other people that you proclaim to be friends with and make content with and so on. So that's the way I've left it. I've said, I suggest that you either get Matt to quieten himself down, or you don't platform some of his comments, and we will just carry on as normal. And I've said to the others that, look, I accept that no malice was meant. It's just that with Matt's comments being genuinely malicious, then when other people make tongue-in-cheek comments, it can look as if they're actually supporting him, whereas, of course, in reality, they're not. So hopefully that will be an end to it. It's a little bit awkward. I wish it hadn't happened. I've noticed that, since it all, Simon's not been on a live, and so, maybe I've lost Simon. Obviously, I'd already lost Matt. Hey ho, these things happen. So there we are. So that's it. Where did I get to? Barry, spot on, says Kick. Half the people on these lives now know what he is, a snake. And Simon isn't the main person to blame, but he did say a few comments, but that's fine. It's Matthew who was to blame, as always. Must be difficult for Simon being friends with both parties. Yeah, well, that's a fair point. Are you and Simon okay now, says Cheeseburger? I think so. I think so. We spoke. He probably and I should point out that he did apologize fully, as did everybody else involved apart from Matt. So I haven't got a problem with Simon. Absolutely fine with him. Maybe he feels a little bit awkward. Maybe he's angry with me. I don't know, but hopefully everything will be fine. He's not been around on a live since then. Hopefully at some point he will be. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, we're fine, Cheesy. Cheesy. Uh, Travelodge is fine, says Bad Books. The only issue once was neighbouring guests were banging all night, extremely noisy. I'll drown him out with a live stream. If I get put next door to a banging couple, I'll just drag all of you guys in. We'll drown them out, no problem. Neil says, live and let live. It's all peace and love. Here, here. I just don't like people who I treat as family having their names dragged through the dirt. Say what you want about me, but arguing on a live is a no-no in my eyes. Yeah. And Cheeseburger says, Neil, the internet is a difficult place. And that's absolutely right. I mean, I don't wish any harm to anybody, and I don't want any fallouts. And to this day, this is genuine. I've got no idea what sparked Matt off. I've got no idea what caused him to flounce or be annoyed or upset or think that he was unwelcome. I've not got a clue. As far as I know, and as everybody else has agreed with me, he suddenly just became a bit of an arse, said a load of nasty stuff, and then buggered off. So, oh well, who knows? Barry says, Boaty, you are my mate, as is Paul, Simon, Simone, Sophie, Cheeseburger, and everybody else here. I don't do false or two-faced people. End of. And yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about, isn't it? I mean, I like to think that we've got a really healthy relationship. You all know me. You know I don't take offense. I poke fun at myself first before anybody else does. And I love the fact that we've got this. I'd hate to, I'm not going to say a bad word about Ian or anybody like that, but I'd hate to have a relationship with my community members or viewers or whatever, where you're all reverential and, oh, great, bollocks to that. We're mates. Call me an arsehole. When I'm being a twat, tell me I'm being a twat. That's proper mates, isn't it? I mean, that's a real British thing. You know, when somebody really likes you is when they totally rip the piss out of you. Mustard did it with me from day one. That's how I knew that he was going to be a proper mate, that we were really going to get on. As soon as he, within an hour of meeting him, he called me a walking Nigel Farage tribute act. And I thought, that's it. I like you. We're going to be friends. And that's the way I feel with all of you guys. Agree, mate, says Neil. It's a sticky situation, but coming. Neil, I think that was a misnomer. I think that was a misunderstanding, and this was cleared up. Just to go on a technical little point, Neil took a slight against some comments that it appeared when were aimed against him, and I don't think they were. They were talking about my situation with Minge Bag and the oil, whereas the oil that Neil, that you checked on video, was Wetleg. So they weren't actually talking about the same thing. So when they were having a go about Minge Bag, I don't think they were actually having a go at you or your skills or your ability. And there was an apology over this that you saw in the comments. They just messed up the two cards. They saw you checking Wetleg, then there was an issue with Minge Bag, and 2 and 2 put together makes 5. Yes, good point, Cheeseburger. You're right. And yeah, we'll let it play out tonight and then we can just draw the line under it. But yeah, noted. Yeah, comments should indeed be measured. You're quite right. And Ben agrees, discretion is the better part of valor. Jimmy Quinn, you deserve a medal for this comment. Jimmy Quinn, what a legend. So, Matt wasn't your secret banker. No. Matt definitely wasn't my secret banker. Skik says, come back, Simon. You're a good guy, pal. If you are doing a live from the hotel room, can we all have a go? And Cheeseburger again says, I tried to calm Matt down in the stream when he flames, but he's made his mind up. Joe says Simon is a nice guy. Look, I mean, I've spent a lot of time with Simon, a lot of time with him at the yard, here at my home on more than one occasion. I've sold him a car, and believe it or not, I am fussy about where any of my cars end up. He's one of only three people I've sold a car to in this thing. And I agree, Simon's a nice guy. He is a nice guy. Oh, actually, there's a lot of love for Simon coming in. In my opinion, unless you write a complete paragraph for every comment, sometimes a quick one-line comment can be misunderstood and interpreted in completely the wrong way. I agree with that. Joe says, never mind, let's put it in the past and learn from it going forward and not talk about personal things on a live. And maybe keep comments to yourself, it saves the aggro. We'll play it out. Look, we're entitled to play it out over a couple of days, all right? And we have done. And we've spoken about it tonight and how it's all ended up. So I suggest that as of after tonight, let's just let things lie and let things be as they are. Mustard says, I like Simon. We all like Simon. I've just joined, says Carlos TM, pissed on a school night. What did I miss? Okay, darlings. Okay, we're up to speed on comments. I've run over a little bit, but running over a little bit is always a joy with you, an absolute joy. And in your honor, I will now grasp my own buttocks and squeeze them with joy and delight. And it is you. It's you. I'm so sorry about that. I don't know why I did that. It is you that have brought that joy and delight into my life. So thank you so much. Thank you for joining me on all of the lives through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Thank you for your support. Thank you again to Neil tonight for gifting those channel memberships. And thank you to all of you for giving a shit about me, giving a shit about our community, and just being generally wonderful and making every day better than it would be if you weren't there. Thank you again to Barry for this, and it is properly referenced in the daily diaries. And in terms of live stream, that's it from me, except that it probably isn't, because I'm going to try and squeeze in another live at lunchtime over the weekend, if I can. So I hope you have a great Friday. I hope you have a great weekend. And if I don't catch up with you before, you'll see the daily diaries. There's always the Facebook group. We'll always have the Facebook group, darlings. We'll always have the comments on the videos. We're never too far apart. And then Monday, I will very much see you on, excuse me. Oh, dear. I will very much see you on Monday. It's going to be something a little bit different. Might be an adventure in one way or another. So I can't wait. So much love to you all. Please take. Sorry, Carlos TM. I'm sorry. I've got on. I'm 40 minutes over where I'm supposed to be. So please take great care of yourselves. Have a safe and peaceful night. Have the best day that you can tomorrow and the best weekend that you can. And much love from me. Good night. Can't wait to see you next time. Thank you again. Bye-bye.